Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Look at this bright light. Thanks for being here. You're silhouetted against a sunset here for us. So thanks for being here. My name is Keene. I've been in sustainability and startups for a long time, and things feel like they've changed very quickly in the last few years, both because of macroeconomic conditions, but also because of AI. And we're going to go straight into the heart of that with our first session this morning. So to let you know how this works, we have 9 pitch and inventions over the next 2 days. There'll be 27 different startups, so 3 at each. 3 just now, and then another 3, and then another 3 in different sectors. And there'll be one winner chosen from these 3 to go through to the final tomorrow, where there'll be 9 in the final, and then a big prize, which you can read about for the winning startup. Probably the most valuable part, apart from winning, is all the good connections we can make between the judges and investors and the founders, but also amongst the crew here. So at the end of the session, feel free to hang out at the back, connect with each other. That's really important. What do I called Raaise? It's Australian, Raaise, with 2 A's, and we are a smart matching AI-powered platform for founders of impact and climate startups with impact investors, so that the pain of a lot of this investment process is sorted by the algorithm in matching, due diligence, and so on, so we can focus on the human relationships, which is what we're doing here today. All right, enough from me. Each startup will have 4 minutes to pitch and then a few minutes to chat with the investors. Before we meet our first startup, I'd like to introduce our investors. I'll let them introduce themselves. And my first question to our investors is, the focus of this session is tech and AI. How has AI in the last 2 or 3 years changed the impact investing landscape from your point of view? So let's start off with Anna, from European Space Agency. Anna.
Hi everyone. So AI recently, we've seen a surge of applications that more and more use AI and machine learning, especially to derive insights on how you can create impact. So speaking of different impact, that's something.
It's coming on. Mics are dropping in and out a little bit.
Yeah,
okay, just keep going, Anna. Well done.
That's okay. So as I was saying, many of the solutions that we support use AI, because obviously if you use things like Earth observation imagery and all the data points, and the more data you use, the more important it is to make sense of it and how you can use it practically. So we see plenty of AI applications, and we see an increase in the last years.
A lot of growth. Give us some context of your role in organisation.
Absolutely. So my name is Anna Raposo. I support at Raaise companies that make use of either satellite imagery, communication, navigation to address challenges in different markets. So I'm particularly focused in insurance and finance, but also with a strong focus in environmental and creating societal impact.
Amazing. Can you give us an example or 2 of the kind of investments that you've made with your technology and finance in this space?
Absolutely. So we had recently an activity that uses Earth observation, for instance, to support claims of insurance. So you understand that what happened with the damage if you have a storm or if you have a wildfire risk. You can understand better first the risk modeling, because you can understand the situation within and around the asset, but also once the event happens, you can determine the claims more easily.
And it's the precision of measuring the risk and the claims that makes it a potential game changer, is that right?
Yes, and also the fact that you have more real-time information. So for instance, after the claims, you don't need to wait, or you don't need to rely on the reports of people. You can actually see yourself with satellite data, for instance.
Yeah. Insurance is on the front line of disruption. Thank you so much, Anna. So Georgia DaCosta from FBX Capital, tell us a little bit about your role in organisation and how you see the landscape right now. And I don't know, at the back team, do we have a slide with our lovely judges on and their details? I think there is one. If we can find it, Chris, then people can also connect via the screen. Georgia, thank you.
So my name is Georgia. Is it working? Okay. My name is Georgia DaCosta. I'm head of partnerships at Funding Bay and FBX Capital, and what I do really is create relationships with any kind of business that has clients that need debt financing. I'm obviously come from a completely different perspective. You know, you've got equity investment, and then you've got the other side, which is debt. But I see a lot of change within the debt market, especially with the use of AI right now. It's actually a very interesting space to be in, because debt predominantly has been purely based on relationships for a long time. Like, for instance, if you are a scale-up and you're looking for debt, there are options out there for you, and I think that there's a lot of misunderstanding about that. But if you go to a brokerage and ask for a debt facility, you will not a lot of the time actually be taken to the right facility for you. You will solely be taken to the lender that has taken that broker out for beers that week. That's how the debt world has worked predominantly. Now we are seeing a real big change within our space. For instance, we're now using AI for businesses to be able to matchmake themselves to lenders. We've currently got a platform now. It's called Compare My Funding. We're currently rolling it out with a lot of partners, and that AI is really going to help businesses actually be matchmake to the right facilities for them, rather than just purely relationship based. I'm seeing a lot of that, and also from a debt perspective as well. Tech and AI is probably one of the most fundable that we've seen from FBX Capital. It's incredibly consistent in terms of its revenues, a lot of providers, debt facility providers, really enjoy the consistency and the security of it.
That's brilliant, thanks George, and echoes what I'm seeing a lot around startups, especially going for a mix of funding, whether it's debt, equity, grants, or whatever it takes, of course, but that becoming a real theme in this community as well. Thank you. Thomas Panton from Endgame Capital. You've crossed the divide from founder to investor in the last year.
Yes.
I know that's not a secret, so I can share that. Tell us about Endgame and how you see it.
Yep, so hi guys, Thomas Panton, two-time climate tech founder, turned VC to the dark side. You all right?
I was going to say the bright side, but
the bright side, sure.
You need the money.
So I'm a founding associate at Endgame Capital. Endgame Capital started as a climate tech angel syndicate for about a year and a half, and now we've transitioned into a fully fledged climate tech fund, which is really exciting. Just to give you a top level, so we're an early stage venture capitalist capital fund investing in highly defensible climate denier-proof climate solutions, sort of on the cusp of commercialization, which have the potential to mitigate over 50 megatons of greenhouse gas emissions at scale every year. We invest across 5 verticals, so ag tech, mobility, energy, built environment, manufacturing. And what is climate denier proof? So basically it just means that it's good business first and foremost, and its impact by design. It's built into it, so as you scale it gets better impact, and that means it's not reliant on goodwill or intent, not reliant on needing regulation change, and we like to say that even the infamous Donald Trump would buy this technology because it's just good business. AI, so AI has massively shifted every industry across the last sort of decade, I would say, but obviously we've seen that most aptly in the last sort of 5 years. Obviously, there's all this conversation about the negative impacts of AI, but AI has so much good potential for climate tech. You know, you can measure the melting of ice caps 10,000 times faster than any researcher ever could just using AI. That has huge potential for mitigation, adaptation, tracking, monitoring, reporting, but also solutions as well. So we look at all sorts of solutions. Many of them embed AI in their new technologies, which we think is kind of a must for any business. Otherwise you're kind of left behind working with archaic technologies, you're working slower, you're definitely going to be hindered in your growth. But really importantly, when AI comes into it, it's about how it can make businesses more efficient, more effective, and ultimately reduce emissions whilst doing that. So lots of exciting stuff happening.
Thank you, Thomas. That's great. So we could dive into lots more questions on this, but I think we're going to get into our startups now. Our judges have a whole bunch of criteria, but one really quick question before we invite Una up to kick off. What helps you when you're hearing a pitch? What is the thing that you're looking for? I know there's many things, but what helps you personally get something stuck in your mind? I'm interested.
I would say time and time again, it's always the team itself. I think even with debt providers, they will buy into a team. Probably one of the top things they look for is a good leading team. So yeah, even from a debt perspective, I'd say that's where we look.
What is the problem you are trying to solve?
Yeah, I mean, at an early stage team, but I think really importantly, we're not looking for businesses which are going to take forever to scale, high capex, high opex. These things are just good business.
Brilliant. All of the above. Fantastic. Una, are you ready? Awesome. Please give Una from Asoenia a big round of applause. Welcome. Thanks, Una. Would you like this mic where you have this? Yeah?
I'll just say whilst this is setting up, on Thursday, a little plug, on Thursday this week, Endgame Capital has brought together some of the world's leading climate tech VCs on a climate tech perspectives report, which is being released on Thursday as part of London Climate Action Week. So definitely make sure to follow along, and there are some really interesting perspectives on different types of climate tech across the ecosystem, across the world.
Amazing, thanks. Any other ads?
Yes, we have a side event today at 3 p.m. if my memory is not bad. But come and join us. You will learn more about access to funding, how we can support you, and if you have any questions on different verticals.
Amazing. Una, are you ready? Oh, we just need to switch the screen.
Where's the event?
Chris, can we switch it over? Let's go. Let's go. There's only 1,000 slide decks across here today. It's fine. Where's the AI to run it? Is John to the rescue? A human.
Sorry to clarify, the event is here. It's here. It's here it's part of Reset Connect. You don't have to go anywhere else.
Okay. Just look at find
Yeah,
Thomas
just
online.
look on our LinkedIn, and it will be posted everywhere by us and all the other VCs.
Okay.
And this is a great example of when tech is a hindrance and relationships matter most.
That's all right. We'll get there. We'll get there. Okay, judges. Now we can ask a difficult question while we're waiting. Energy and water use. What's your business's position on and how AI manages this? So you've got a sustainability businesses, startups that are trying to solve sustainability issues, but they're using a lot of AI to do it. Is that a conflict, a problem, or do we just say the solution is more important?
I'm very bullish on this. Like, why do we always look at the problem or the symptom, and rather than the source of that problem, which is the energy that data centers run off of, and the way that they're recycling or not recycling water. But also, really importantly, if you look at the per capita usage of AI, it's minuscule. So really importantly, like, when we talk about the total cumulative use of energy and water by AI, and you say like, oh, it's going to be the 6th largest country emitter, it's going to be as big as Japan's energy use or whatever. Yes, but also everyone globally is using AI. So actually, per capita, it's much less than we think is the problem. Okay. But yes, we need to solve the source of that problem, which is the energy that's used.
Great. Anna, Georgia?
At the moment, we focus on the benefits for the users, but we are considering on how we can understand the overall impact of the solution. So right now, we just look at solution and benefit to the user without maybe going further beyond, but we're considering and trying to understand how we can incorporate it. Yeah.
Interesting. Georgia, do you have a point of view on this?
It's not really my expertise, but I think just, commenting on what was it Andrew? Thomas, sorry.
You can call me Andrew if you want.
Yeah, that's good.
Call me whatever you want. It's fine.
I don't know where I got Andrew from, guys, but
it's good.
new name.
He's the fourth judge. So I would say it's interesting because this is where these two worlds meet, right? We're here, we're talking about building with AI, but we're also talking about solving sustainability issues. So there's a tension there. Yeah, you're right. Sam Altman made a big play on this week, last week. I think, it's 0.00004 whatever every time an individual uses AI. The research I did on this, and we had a session on it, was that if you did 100 prompts a day, text prompts a day, on an LLM like ChatGPT for 365 days a year, that's 4 beef burgers or 11 miles in a petrol car in terms of emissions. The point is, and the pushback is that industry doesn't work like that. And if you're building, these large language models, you're processing a lot of data. Of course, it sucks energy and water. But my sense is, like echoing what you just said, is that it's in business interest, regardless of sustainability goals, to get the cost of running the fast-growing data industry down, and that means clean energy and sustainable water supply.
It's the most ridiculous never-ending argument because solar, wind, and other renewables are consistently dropping in price. The cost of actually setting up these projects is considerably lower than many other sources of energy projects. They generally don't go over cost. So why are we not investing more in renewables? Which, of course, there's a lot of investment going in, but we need to think about how that can aid AI. Anyway, enough on that.
The good news is we have a one-stop shop to decarbonise planet Earth. Una, thank you for being patient. Let's give Una a round of applause. Thank you, and thank you to you guys who've been patient, and our judges. All right, Una, all yours.
Thank you for your time. My name is Yuna from Asena. Okay, my name is Yuna from Asena Europe. So Asena is a climate tech company from Japan, and we are providing one-stop shop for decarbonization to companies. So today I would like to share who we are and what kind of service that we are providing. So our mission is changing the world for the next generation. And currently, we are providing 6 platforms in total for decarbonization and sustainability field. So, for example, Asena is a carbon accounting platform for an ESG data management system. And we also use AI OCR function to scan the data from like a electricity bill or receipt of gasoline to get the CO2 data. And Asena ESG on the right side is ESG rating system for entire supply chain. Carbon EX is a carbon credit platform for exchanging voluntary carbon credit or RECs or electricity certificates. So this is our track record of our customers. We have over 12,000 clients in total, and we have a strong foundation in manufacturing site. So for example, Honda, Isuzu, Sony, those kind of companies are ones of our clients. But our service is cross-sector, so we are covering most of all sectors. And this is an overview of our company. It's established 2019, and our headquarters in Japan. We also have base in the UK, US, Philippines, Singapore, and Thailand. And we've finished our Series C funding and prepare for the next round. Currently, we've raised $70 million in total. This is our growth of our company. Since it's a SaaS platform, so our ARR growth is 95%. And I joined Asena 3.5 years ago, and at that time, it was only 10 people, but now we have 410 people as employees. And this year, we are also chosen as Time World Top 100 Green Tech Companies. And in terms of carbon accounting field, we are ranked number 2. And we are also actively doing M&A from last year. So in this 1 year, we completed 5 M&A to scale up and also to become more like a comprehensive provider in this sustainability field. So this is our key strengths. I would say there are so many key points from our company, but I've just highlighted 2. So one is global coverage, especially Asian region. So we have lots of knowledge and expertise to get the ESG data from Asian regions. And that would be also valuable to European companies, because especially manufacturing corporates, their supply chain spread to Asia, especially like Southeast Asia or China. And because of the regulations or language, it would be difficult to get the data from them, but we can support for that part. And the second strong key part is a one-stop shop. So we are not only a carbon accounting platformer, but we can also support ESG data management for entire supply chain, and we can also support improving their situations with local language and with on-site support. And we also provide reduction solutions such as carbon credit, and we've just acquired a US company which provides the energy management system, combining with AI simulation for the reduction. So combining with those kind of products, we provide one-stop shop from carbon accounting to reduction. And what we are looking for is, since we've just launched a new base here in the UK, it's only 2 months, so we need more credibility, and we need to know how we can scale up our business here in European markets. So we are looking for investors and partners who can support for that part. Yep. Thank you very much.
Great stuff. I mean, like, obviously a well-established company that's basically just expanding and scaling, so really good work. I have a couple of questions. Firstly is that there are a lot of platforms which are offering similar services. So I guess, like, as you expand into Europe and the UK, how do you differentiate or defend yourself against their establishment already? And then secondly, I appreciate that it's a large team, but are you growing like independent teams in individual countries, or are the original senior executives based in Japan sort of still leading that growth? How much has that changed over the time of expansion from 10 to 450 employees?
Thank you very much. So for the first question, so one strong point is we have lots of expertise to support Asian countries already, Asian companies already. That will be really different from the other competitors here in the European market, because we don't see much companies who provide a carbon accounting with Asian languages. And we can also provide on-site support to their suppliers with like Chinese or in Thai or in Indonesia Bahasa, so that suppliers can also understand like what is scope 1 and 2 and how they can calculate them. So we also need those kind of onboarding support to suppliers to get the correct data and to improve their situations. So those kind of like a language coverage and expertise in Asian region will be one different point from the other competitors here in the European market. And for the second question, our CEO in headquarters in Japan, so he is organizing all of the global branch and also M&A project as well. So mainly, yeah, he is going to be the decision maker for all of the expansion.
Thanks.
My focus is you wanted to expand a bit in the UK. Is there a particular feature or a particular what is it that you would like to develop further in your application?
One of our feature is like a one-stop shop. So we would like to provide this scheme to UK and the European market as well. So our core main service is Asene, the carbon accounting platform, but still we try to provide a comprehensive support from accounting, supply chains support, and reduction part as well. So that is one of the schemes that we would like to expand here.
So given you are already quite well funded, what is the purpose of the funding now going forward? What are you looking to use it for?
Actually, for startups who are in the climate tech field, this is like a little bit like a tough situations. So many companies are struggling to get funding for survive. But since once we have lots of capital and we can become together, so that's why we are actively doing M&A. And for that part, we need more investment.
Yeah, I thought that would be the answer, but yeah, it's a really good move. Actually, it's in my notes about the M&A movements you're doing.
Yeah, thank you.
Can I just quickly ask, on the business model, it's SaaS, but is that sort of enterprise licensing, subscriptions?
Yes.
Is that the only revenue that you're
Yeah,
getting
it's a
from you?
recalling model of
Yeah.
SaaS, and yeah.
Yeah, great, that's fine.
Okay, we're back. Two final questions in case we didn't get the data points. Size of business in terms of annual revenue now, and scale of emissions being saved by your company.
Sorry.
So how many emissions have you been able to reduce as a business so far? Like what scale are you at in terms of impact, and the scale of the company in terms of revenue?
Scale of emissions means the...
How many emissions have been saved?
Usually, I mean, how we can save the time cost to measure these kind of numbers, we can reduce 70% of workload by using those kind of systems. To speak about the emissions reduction, actually it depends on the client's budget, but we try to reach to their like SBTI target or net zero target.
Do you have a sense of the number across all your clients of how much has been saved? Or is that hard to measure yet? Okay, that's what we need the AIs to help with, because that would be fascinating as well. Yuna from Asana, thank you so much. Big round of applause. Well done. Patrick, come on up. Let's make sure your deck. Chris is here. Judges, you've got a few more seconds just to make your notes. Going from 50 to 10 to 450 staff in 18 months? Is that it, the timescale?
3 years, 3 years.
3 years. That's amazing. All right. Fantastic. Please give a warm round of applause to Patrick from RevTerra.
Thank you very much. Good morning. I'm Patrick Flam, the CFO of RevTerra. As AI scales, it's beginning to break the power grid. RevTerra's kinetic stabilizer solution solves this by transforming hyper-volatile AI compute loads into grid-synchronous, rock-steady power. This construction site will soon become the world's largest AI factory. It'll consume 1.2 gigawatts of power. Of that, 1 gigawatt will be dedicated to GPUs alone. But it's not just the sheer amount of power that's the trouble here. It's the violent way that AI consumes it. Traditional data centers had incredibly stable and predictable load profiles. AI data centers do not. One single top-of-line GPU rack today can spike from 50 to 600 kilowatts in just milliseconds, multiple times per second. Now scale that across 10,000 racks. The result? Power spikes that can damage equipment, trip circuits, and shut down servers. Our solution is the kinetic stabilizer, a 2 megawatt drop-in system that stores energy by spinning a large steel rotor under vacuum. It responds instantaneously, never degrades, and lasts far longer than batteries. Think of it as a mechanical supercapacitor engineered for the era of AI. Our rotor spins at exactly the same frequency as both the grid and the load. Because of that, we can connect directly through a standard breaker. No need for an inverter, harmonic filter, or fire suppression gas. We can save millions of dollars in upfront CapEx, eliminate key points of system vulnerability, and offer physically instantaneous protection. Our system also offers more than 10 times reduction of total lifecycle cost. We can do that by lowering upfront CapEx, minimizing ongoing O&M expenses, and completely eliminating costly replacements that you would have with traditional batteries. We also have more than 4 times the power density, saving crucial space for data center operators. Our instantaneous response means we're prepared for the most severe AI volatility. And finally, our infinite lifespan means we need 0 replacements over time, and our system will last for decades in the field. On the left, you can see our very first commercial production unit being shipped to a third-party test site. On the right, you can see a still image from a video that showed a successful rotor spin testing test under vacuum, proving the core mechanical stability of our system. I have the full video if anybody's interested in seeing it afterwards. We're receiving support from the US National Science Foundation, and we're in the process of completing a $1 million phase 2 grant today. We have 4 megawatts of executed purchase orders and several other advanced commercial discussions ongoing. My 8-person team has alumni from The Boring Company, Baker Hughes, the Air Force Research Lab, and top-tier energy investment banks. We're a team of builders, engineers, and scale-up veterans, supported by an experienced board of advisors, including the former president of Chevron Technology Ventures. We're currently completing internal testing on our system and expect to deploy our first 2 projects before the end of this year. After that, we've built out a plan to reach run rate production of 300 megawatts annually by the end of next year. We're already receiving inquiries from hyperscalers, and the average project sizes often exceed 100 megawatts. Because of this, we need to scale very quickly to meet this emerging demand. We're currently raising a $6 million Series A2 to capture early market leadership and accelerate our deployment. With this funding, we'll be able to finalize our commercial-ready design, fully execute on our first 2 signed projects, bring in additional team resources on the engineering and commercial sides, and complete an internal test bed that will let us prove out mission-critical characteristics for the most discerning hyperscalers. AI is scaling faster than the power grid can handle. RevTerra ensures that infrastructure can keep up with a system that has no delays, no degradation, and no compromises. If this resonates, please come and talk to me afterwards. Join us in giving AI the inertia it deserves. Thank you.
I would like to know a bit more about your competitors and how did you differentiate from them?
Yeah, so the biggest competitor right now is a chemical UPS system, so lithium-ion batteries in general. It's the most commonly used. I'd say the biggest thing that's happening right now, data centers try to rely on this solution, but there's really 2 key differentiators. The first is that chemical batteries take 10 to 15 milliseconds to respond, which is not fast enough to solve these fluctuations that I was talking about. The second part of it is, if you're using a battery UPS to try and solve for these issues, you end up burning through all of the cycles of the battery in a matter of mere months. We've heard reports that large operators of AI data centers are spending more than $1,000 per kilowatt on replacements, meaning they're running through their batteries every 2 to 3 months. Our system has a literally infinite life cycle, meaning it will last for decades instead, saving millions and millions of dollars. It should have a payoff period of less than 4 months.
How much does it cost to create these products, out of interest?
So the price is currently about $650,000 per 2 megawatt module offered to customers. We're expecting to be able to generate margins of upwards of 50% with that.
And how many of these products would someone buy?
It scales on a 1-to-1 basis with the site power demand. So if it's a 500 megawatt system, data center, they would need 500 megawatts of our solution, so 250 modules.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, really interesting. You make the claim that they're sort of like infinite life cycle, but there's inevitably going to be maintenance needed. Who's responsible for the maintenance? If something does break, if you're making this claim of sort of like never-ending supply, like is there sort of a warranty which then they're going to get a replacement for free, or are they going to have to pay upfront again another 650K? Like, how's that working for you?
No, so the interior of the device is actually almost fully non-contact. The part that spins around is levitated on a proprietary magnetic bearing that we've developed. That's one of the cornerstones of our IP. Because there's no contact, that means the number of wear contacts inside of the device are minimized. There are certainly, as you say, components that will require some sort of maintenance, but nothing that should require replacement over that entire lifespan. Most of the components are rated for mean time to failure of upwards of 30 years. We do include with the sale a long-term monitoring and maintenance contract. So we provide a system of kind of sensors within the device, make sure everything's operating correctly as it continues through life. We would provide a service something like once every 3 years. And then if there are any minor components that require replacements, we'll fully cover them under this program.
And in terms of the manufacturing of these devices, like, is this off-the-shelf tech which you're putting together to create your product, or is this a novel sort of first-of-a-kind product which you have to manufacture every component yourselves and then provide the final solution as a sort of like your off-the-shelf rather than anything else?
Yeah, I'd say it's kind of a combination of the two. There are a lot of aspects of the system which are totally proprietary and new to market, so primarily around the bearing technology that we're using, some structural elements of actually supporting the exterior vessel and the way that the rotor is held within it, and then ultimately the way that we actually implement within the application. That being said, we're relying on a whole host of well-understood either materials or technologies that kind of underpin and support this. So there are components like the bearing that we must internally manufacture all of, and we actually believe we can do a better job of manufacturing the rest as well, which will help with things like managing timelines, keeping costs low, and other sorts of things like that. But we're relying on a lot of kind of off-the-shelf, well understood, and there are key differentiators that we're maintaining in-house.
Great, thanks.
Patrick, while the judges gather their notes, one last question from me. We were speaking just before. By the way, did anyone grow up watching Tomorrow's World? Go on, show your age. Yeah, that sort of tech show from. I feel like we're getting a tour of the businesses that were on Tomorrow's World. Would be on Tomorrow's World now. It's amazing. Like, how's the future of data centers going to work? This is it, right? We were talking before about sustainability of data centers. I didn't hear in that presentation that was part of the benefits, but can RevTerra help with the sustainability?
Yeah, absolutely. This is a great question. So one of the core issues that data centers have today is the issue of stability, and it's generally caused by the load, but oftentimes also the supply of electricity from the grid. If data centers are looking to use things like solar or wind on site to provide power, at least when they're getting started because of this huge power bottleneck that's happening, we can provide that much needed physical grid inertia, if you're familiar with the term, and we can also help provide stability for the broader grid as these data centers are actually degrading quality otherwise. So one of RevTerra's main goals as we proceed into the future is to actually enable 100% renewables powered grids, both by deploying at commercial industrial sites, but also by deploying at the grid level to help prevent things like what happened in Spain and Portugal.
Sorry, just one quick question. Is the product patented? Okay, brilliant. That just helps me
Yes,
answer.
was the answer.
Amazing.
Excellent. That is
Thank you.
important when you're thinking about investing in the tech lives. Patrick from RevTerra, fantastic. Thank you. Very good. Dels, you want to come up, Dels and Chris, and make sure your deck is ready. Judges, a few more seconds to make your notes. How's everyone's brains this morning? Are you keeping up with this? This is our new world being built by these businesses. It's great to learn about them. All right, so we've got one more startup pitch in the AI and tech section this morning. Then we're going to have a mini break, get 3 more wonderful judges and investors up here, and then get into our manufacturing and engineering session. Dels, are you ready? Awesome. Judges, you ready? Excellent. Please welcome Dels from Agrify.
Yeah. Hey, everyone. Hope we're having an amazing day so far. I'm Dels from Agrify, and we use AI and the blockchain to solve a very important problem that affects everyone today. You see, farmers are losing over $123 billion worth of yield every single year due to climate change. And this is something that affects every single one of us because when farmers are unable to hit full yield, food gets scarcer, and when food gets scarcer, food prices go up. How many people here have noticed how food prices are going up recently? Show of hands? Amazing. So back in 2021, I assembled a team of 12 technologists, and we're thinking deeply about this problem. How can we not just reverse this trend of farmers losing money while they're trying to help us get food, and instead empower farmers to become wealthier and richer? Our team is filled with technologists that do things like AI, blockchain development, agronomy research, and many other things. And in 2023, we realized one thing. Regenerative agriculture has the power to solve this, but farmers find this too complex. Farmers all around the world, smallholder farmers, about 90% of the people that provide us with the food we eat, find regenerative agriculture too complex. And it has the power to reduce the emissions from agriculture, improve soil health, and increase yield. And that's why we're building Agrify. Agrify is the first of its kind agentic AI that helps farmers improve soil, produce traceability, and access to global markets. What we've built is the first of its kind technology that uses historical soil data as well as satellite imagery to get soil data from the farm with just a location. We then pass this complex soil data into a large language model, such as Google's Gemma, and turn this soil data into easy-to-understand multilingual tasks so any farmer anywhere can understand this. Farmers then communicate in a conversational way with this AI once they've completed tasks, and they upload proof, which is then tokenized on the blockchain, so anyone at any time can audit the conversation and see how the food was grown. The really cool thing about this is that the proof of the sustainability tasks that were carried out can easily go on packaging, so anyone can scan the food packaging and learn the story about how their food was grown, by who, when, and how. And why is this important? So consumer food companies, or the brands we love, are under intense pressure to reduce emissions by 30 to 50% before 2030 to stay compliant. And this is just 5 years away. And this creates a 250 billion plus market for regenerative agriculture. You know, these are scope 3 carbon insetting programs, and they have to find farmers that are farming sustainably, source produce from them in order to meet these intense regulations. And this is what makes Agrify unique. Now you're going to come across a lot of AI solutions that, might advise farmers on how to farm better, or might help them achieve their goals. But what we do that's really interesting is that we connect these farmers to the other side, which is the people who are going to buy the produce from them, creating a very sustainable business model. On one side, we have the companies that need sustainably grown, traceable produce. On the other side, we have farmers that are going to be using Agrify to then increase and prove how sustainable they are. And the market or the industry agrees with us. So without any equity investment, we've been able to win the DLTL blockchain hackathon back in 2024. We carried out 100 farmer pilots, improving productivity with some farmers. We won the Paris Blockchain Week hackathon, and we recently just received a $100,000 grant from Ripple, which is the third largest cryptocurrency by market cap, to bring the trade of sustainably grown and traceable produce on-chain so it's verified by anyone. We're now raising our $450K pre-seed round to enhance our technology, build a marketplace that connects these farmers to buyers, launch FarmQuest, which is a really cool competition for healthier soil globally, and then onboard buyers and reach $1 million in produce sales. So thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here today. Please join our mission to, oh yeah, they're clapping for me as well. Yeah. Yeah. Please join our mission to improve customer trust, help businesses meet their ESG and net zero goals, and empower farmers worldwide to adopt regenerative agriculture. Thank you, guys. I'd love to answer any questions you have.
Thanks very much. Yeah, really appreciate that. Can you just explain a little bit more about your business model? You mentioned a marketplace. Okay. So, yeah, do you want to just run us through this a little bit?
Yeah, so essentially, we charge farmers a $3 per month fee, but this is mostly going to be covered by the food companies, who are then going to be like, I have 1,000 farmers in my network. I'm going to pay for these farmers to use the technology, because when we went to the fields, farmers don't want to pay, which is one of the reasons why it's hard to get the data. We also want to take a commission off of the produce farmed when we supply the buyers with the produce, take a commission. And then we're building something called a green coin, which is sort of like tokenized carbon credits. And this will setting maybe 3 years into the future when we started sequestering enough carbon from agriculture.
Cool. And then just a quick follow-up question on sort of the defensibility of your tech and algorithms. So my understanding is that it's aggregating soil data through satellite imagery, running that through an LLM like Google's Gemma, and then you put that all into a place where it can be tracked on blockchain, basically.
Yeah.
What stops someone else from just doing exactly the same thing, particularly as the LLMs you're using are open source and easily accessible, and I assume that the satellite data is not your satellite data, it's from satellites that already exist. And then within that as well, how are you going to make sure that your carbon credits and sort of carbon verifications are legitimate, basically?
Yeah, I mean, amazing question. So I think what makes this really cool is we've been working on this for 3 years now, and then we've built a model that, not just takes the satellite imagery, but then also takes satellite imagery, takes historical soil data, takes your address, and with just your address, it gives you your complex soil data. But we don't stop there. We then put this through a large language model to make it easy to understand, and then we've built a conditional escrows on the blockchain. So it's to easily adopt this, you have to be very good in not just machine learning, but also blockchain, but also AI development, and also agronomy research. So it's taken us quite some time to build and understand this, which makes us, it's a little bit of skin in the game. Yeah.
2 questions. One on your customer traction and what is the status, and the other one on the satellite data and traceability. Do you rely also on any in situ data, any inputs from the farmers? How do you make the verification at let's say farm level? Because when you think satellite data, it's going to be quite coarse depending on the data you use. But I assume.
Absolutely. So the first question was about...
The first question was about the customer, sorry.
Oh, yes. So we're currently in talk with a very large British supermarket retailer to have a pilot. I think this will kick in maybe in about 2 to 3 months, but that's where we are right now. I can't really mention because it's in process. And then there's also loads of food businesses on our wait list, particularly for the traceability QR codes. They like it. They want to trial it as well. In terms of how we verify that the data is real?
Not that they verify that the data is real, but if you combine it with in situ data, so at farm level,
input less.
what data do you rely from the farmers, if any, And
Yes.
then how do you make the verification of the results that you show to people?
Yeah, so when we get land from the farmer, when they put their address and we have their farm size, we then tokenize an upper limit on the blockchain so they can't sell more produce than that. And once we have that, then we get data from the farmers, we verify it with satellite imagery of how their farms are improving, and then we connect that produce to the buyers. So the farmers can't lie about the amount of produce they've been able to generate. They also, it's just more about telling the story and then fact-checking that with data from satellite imagery.
So yeah, this is incredibly relevant, I think, at this time. You know, at the time period we're in. I don't know if anyone's been watching Clarkson's Farm, but it's very much highlighted. So I think it's an amazing business. I think the question for me is, how are you planning to roll this out? Is it purely through the supermarkets and the food retailers, or will you also market it to the farmers as well?
Yeah, I mean, like technology adoption curve, there's always going to be the innovators and then there'll be the laggards. So we think like if we go to the food companies first and then they roll it out to the farmers, after a period of time, then it can become more popular, costs can go down, and then more farmers can get access to the technology. That's the go-to-market strategy.
Yeah, to be honest, I think that the traction's amazing, especially at the fact that it benefits the farmers, it benefits, obviously, the supermarkets, and then it benefits us as well. So
Absolutely.
It's an incredibly impressive product.
Quick question on the competition. Can you elaborate a bit on who are your competitors and how do you differentiate?
Yeah, so we have typically for this sort of like sustainable or regenerative agriculture, most companies seem to focus on large-scale farms. There's lots of competitors in this space, but what we've done is built the easiest way for farmers to provide data so we can get to the smallest of smallholder farmers, and thereby, like, you know, most of the food produced is from 90% of the farmers are smallholders, so it's highly scalable in that regard, if that makes sense. Yeah, thank you.
Another great pitch. Dels from Agrify. Well done, Dels. Thank you. Okay. Right, here we go. Judges, you have 3 hours. No, you have 3 minutes to discuss. I'll take the microphones from you so we don't hear it. So hold your horses, everyone in the audience. You've got 3 minutes to chat whilst the judges work out who's going to go through to the final. But those 3 were all brilliant. I feel like the conversation between the judges and startups was really good as well. Let me turn these off. Now, while we've got 2 minutes, who here's got a startup? Yes, you've had your chance. Right, you have, haven't you? Stand up. Tell us what you're doing. You've got 30 seconds. Go.
So basically, we're working with the Ghanaian government to implement an afforestation program due to illegal mining, destroying the lands. So we're providing the technology, traceability technology for the afforestation programs. And yeah, basically, that's the...
Great. Greenleaf. What you're called Greenleaf, Nuru. What stage are you at?
We're still in the development stage. We're still building the technology to track the traceability technology at this point. And we've had the agreement signed with the government, and we're still acquiring all the necessary license needed. So afforestation basically is the act of restoring forest lands. So due to illegal mining, there's been a lot of land degradation. A lot of river bodies have been polluted due to the chemicals used to mine. And basically, the government has embarked on a project to reclaim all these destroyed lands and repurify the water bodies. So the afforestation program seeks to basically regenerate the land, provide farmers with seedlings to regrow, and help the land regain back the nutrients and help the water bodies restore their natural state.
Amazing. Thank you, Nuru. Well done. Give a round of applause on the spot. Very good. We can't vote for you through the final this year, but anyone else? Go quick. We've got 1 minute. Anyone else want to use this? Yeah, stand up. We're all friends here. This is your chance. Elena.
Hi, everyone. I'm Elena. I'm going to spin around a little bit. I'm building a social media and donation platform called the Awari Collective, and it's essentially designed to connect individual donors and CSR departments with really small community-led grassroots organizations in sub-Saharan Africa to bring transparency back to the donation pathway, really make people feel like they can make an impact in giving and make giving more cost effective because it is more cost effective in these low income contexts.
So traceability of donations, super important. How do you verify these donations?
So right now we're in pilot stage, so we're going with organizations that have the capacity to audit. We're
Okay.
combing through their financial data and then essentially requiring them to spend those donations in the way that the donor had intended and then verifying it on the back end. And then we're also doing content verification, so they have to post where they are in the process. And then we verify and make sure nothing's AI generated.
Okay, and AI can also be your friend with this as well.
Yes.
The name, Elena, again?
It's called the Awari Collective.
Awari, how do you spell it?
AWARI.
AWARA, Awari Collective. Elena, thank you. That was great. One more? Yes, jump up, sir. 30 seconds, go.
I may also need to spin around. Sure. Yeah, I'm starting a company called Maintainable. We are a procurement platform and marketplace for the interiors industry. So just trying to like defragment materials and try and get sourcing to the UK, but also help track certifications, carbon footprinting, and all of these other things.
Okay, great. And if I was to go outside this room and pitch this to my mum or my son who knows nothing about it, what would I say? This is what it is.
You would say you can find the material you need based on your requirements. You can find, the most sustainable one according to what you think.
Give us an example. What kind of things could I find?
You could find, let's say you're looking for a chair, and that chair is made out of. You want to know who makes that chair. You want to know this chair is made ethically, made properly, and you want to know it's made from a village that you know of and you've heard of.
Okay, so traceability of products. Yeah. Fantastic. The name of the business?
Attainable.
Say again, nice and loud.
Attainable.
Retainable.
Maintainable.
Maintainable. We got there. It's really important. There's lots of businesses. Maintainable. And your name?
Arjun.
Archie. Thank you, Maintainable. All right, guys. Judges, I'm coming for you. Here we go. So, give you this mic. All right. We had just one. No, we're going to do it out loud in a second. So, just a reminder, we had Una from Ascena, we had Patrick from Revterra, and we had Dels from Agrify. If I was American, I'd put you all in the final. Regardless, do connect with everyone. Okay, judges, really quick reflection from you each, and who's going through to the final?
Do you want us all to give our reflections, or do you want?
Yeah, a quick reflection each, generally on whatever you want to say. You've got a minute each. Go for it, and then we'll announce the winner.
Okay, so also obviously very different startups, like at very different stages, solving very different things, which is always hard to judge. Firstly, I think that generally speaking, we felt.
Chris,
that
can we get the judges? Chris, sorry, Thomas. Chris, hello. Can we get the judges' pictures up here so we can connect? Sorry, Thomas. Please carry on.
Sorry.
I want to get your face and connections up here so we can do these connections.
We think that generally speaking, like more focus for all of the startups can be just on like defensibility, competition, market, and then also scalability, like how you actually manage to either scale that from acquisition of customers or the cost of scaling, which can in certain cases get very, very high. I think that, so just very quickly, one sentence on each from me. I think Aswan's very later stage, obviously, but they've got a very big beneficial data set, having this large Asian market data, which lots of European competitors just won't have yet, which I think in a space which is highly competitive and very difficult to defend against, actually gives you a defensibility which currently doesn't exist in Europe. For Revterra, I think that obviously when we see new solutions for energy, it's always really exciting. I think that my challenge in this space is just like how you scale these sorts of things. The manufacturing first of a kind projects with like high capex up front is quite challenging in my perspective. And I also think that whilst there's no competitors in the space necessarily doing exactly that, there might be other competitors looking at other types of solutions with lower capex. And then for Agrify, I think, look, it's a huge problem which needs to be solved. The challenge is how do you move from it being sort of either intent or regulatory driven, and also because there are lots of people trying to solve this problem, how do you again differentiate and defend against other competitors using similar data in similar ways?
Fantastic. Thanks, Thomas. Anna.
Thank you. Well, that was already quite a comprehensive overview. But in general, I would have to echo on the value of data for the first team. I'm going to be brief and just give a
Thank you.
one key
Appreciate
point on
it.
each. The second company, I think it was agree on the alternatives. I find the concept very very interesting. A bit unsure on the capex associated with, but the third one for me, the key point is competition. So that's my.
Yeah, and we're doing all this in 5 minutes.
It's
So,
very,
no,
it's,
so
to be
this
hard
is
to-
pre-due diligence, right?
But-
yeah.
Sorry, I just wanted to say overall, so I focus on, let's say, the interesting and the weakest points, but also I find that very different solutions, but very interesting journeys and
Yeah.
very, very relevant problems as well. So I appreciate, one thing that I appreciate in the three teams was the identification of the problem and what they were trying to do.
Absolutely, that's half of it, isn't it? Thank you, Anna. Georgia.
Amazing, all three, to be honest with you. But just touching upon the first one, yeah, I've got to say the scalability there is incredibly strong. Definitely due to the market and, well, data within the Asian market, that really does set them apart. With RevTerra, my only concern would just be the fact that it's a huge benefit to the customer, but not so much to the actual scale-up, is how long it lasts, how it doesn't really need, you don't need to buy a new one anytime soon. But I think that very much balances it out with the IP protection that they've got.
Yes.
So yeah, both excellent. And then finally, the third one, I really enjoyed that pitch. I think it's incredibly timely and relevant. And yeah, just echoing my panelists, it's probably more the competition element that would be my worry.
Got it.
But the team seems amazing, and that really does set a business apart.
Brilliant. I think that point that's come up a couple of times at RevTerra, but other businesses around with circular economy models of like the business model moving from something go obsolete and buying it again, which obviously we're trying to get beyond to recurring revenue, subscription, all that stuff. And we're seeing that trend, and it's helping each other understand that. Okay, Georgia, can I ask you who's going through to the final? You all have to agree. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Are we agreeing?
Aswen.
Asena, okay. You know, fantastic, well
Asena.
done.
Yeah.
Thank you, judges. What's going to happen now is judges and startups and anyone else who's interested can go to the back, connect, all right, just behind the deck over there in the dark. And we're going to kick off the next one pretty much within 5 minutes. We are running late, but we'll get it in. So for the judges and the startups for our next session, which is on engineering and manufacturing, please come and see me. We've got some brilliant investors and startups. So 5 minutes and we'll go again. Thank you, audience. Thank you, judges. Thank you, startups. Well done.